There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize something unsettling. The greatest battles they fight are not against people, circumstances, or failures, but against their own mind. Not the external world, but the internal world, the quiet room inside the skull where thoughts echo, distort, and sometimes betray us. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, begins here, not as a technique, not as a medical concept, but as an intimate confrontation with the stories you tell yourself. Because before your life can change, your mind must be understood. And before your mind can be understood, you must be willing to face the illusions it creates. CBT is often explained as a therapy. In truth, it is a mirror, a method of holding your thoughts still long enough to see what they are actually saying. And when you look into that mirror honestly, you discover something most people never admit. Your thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, assumptions, predictions, memories speaking through you without permission. The mind rarely shows you reality. It shows you its version of reality, a version shaped by fears, wounds, beliefs, and outdated habits. CB teaches you to question that version, to pull apart the tangled threads of thought and ask, is this true? Or is this just familiar? People forget something essential. Emotions do not appear out of thin air. They grow out of thoughts. A thought becomes a feeling. A feeling becomes a behavior. A behavior becomes a life. When someone says, I feel anxious, CBT asks, what thought came right before the anxiety? When someone says, I feel unworthy, CBT asks, who told you that first? And why did you believe them? Instead of drowning in emotions, CBT guides you into the source, the thinking patterns that quietly shape everything you feel. Because when you change the thought, you interrupt the entire chain reaction. Your emotions soften. Your behaviors shift. Your life begins to move differently. One of the most powerful ideas in CBT is that the mind falls into predictable traps. These traps are like cracks in the lens through which you see the world. And once you know the cracks exist, you start noticing them everywhere. All or nothing thinking, the belief that you are either perfect or a failure. Overgeneralizing, assuming one bad moment is your entire identity. Catastrophizing, taking a small problem and imagining the worst possible outcome. Mind reading, assuming you know what people think about you without evidence. These distortions feel so real that people build their entire personality around them. CBT is the process of gently breaking these illusions, one thought at a time. What most people don't realize is that the mind often lies to keep you safe. Fear, anxiety, avoidance. These are not enemies. They are primitive protections. Your brain is always trying to protect you from pain, embarrassment, rejection, or failure. But it uses old tools to solve new problems. Your mind exaggerates threats to keep you from taking risks. It makes you assume the worst so you won't be disappointed. It keeps you small so you won't be hurt. CBT teaches you to update this system, to replace emotional survival reactions with conscious, intentional thinking. It helps you step out of the automatic panic and step into a more honest interpretation of reality. A truth people rarely consider is that your behavior shapes your thoughts just as much as your thoughts shape your behavior. Many wait for confidence before trying. Many wait for motivation before beginning. But CBT shows that confidence is built, not found. Motivation grows after movement. Action reshapes the mind. When you do the thing you fear, the mind learns a new lesson. I can handle this. When you do what feels difficult, your belief system shifts. I am more capable than I thought. Behavior is not a consequence. It is a teacher. A quiet one, a steady one. CBT also reveals something both simple and profound. The brain is trainable. Just like the body, it grows stronger through repetition. Each time you challenge an unhelpful thought, you weaken the old neural pathway. Each time you replace it with a healthier belief, a new pathway forms. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly, your mind rewires itself. The thoughts that once overwhelmed you lose their sharpness. The fears that once controlled you shrink. You become the sculptor of your inner world instead of its prisoner. But the mind has one habit that CBT confronts directly: avoidance. Avoidance feels safe. It feels comfortable. But it feeds fear like oxygen feeds fire. Every time you avoid what scares you, the fear grows. It grows louder, bigger, more convincing. CBT teaches exposure, not as punishment, but as liberation. You take steps toward the thing that frightens you, so that your brain learns. This is not a threat. One small exposure after another, and fear begins to lose its voice. Another truth emerges through CBT. Self-awareness is not natural. It is a skill. Most people think they understand themselves, but what they really understand is their surface reactions. Underneath those reactions is a deeper blueprint. Beliefs formed in childhood, coping mechanisms formed in pain, fears inherited from the past. CBT invites you into this deeper territory. It asks you to look at what triggers you, why certain experiences cut deeper than others, and how much of your life is influenced by patterns you never consciously chose. This awareness can be uncomfortable, but it is the beginning of freedom. And that leads to the final, most transformative truth. CBT does not change the world around you. It changes the way you move through it. The storms of life remain the same, unpredictable, fast, relentless. But you become stronger, calmer, more emotionally disciplined. You stop reacting from fear and begin responding from clarity. You stop believing every thought and start questioning the ones that harm you. You stop seeing yourself as fragile and start realizing how much control you truly have. In the end, CBT is not about controlling life. It's about controlling what life awakens in you. It's about realizing that the mind is not an enemy to defeat, but a tool to understand. It's about giving yourself the power to rewrite the narrative that shapes your world. Because once you learn to read your own thoughts, to question them, challenge them, reshape them, you become someone very few people ever manage to become. A person who is no longer ruled by their mind, but guided by it.